Technology has shaped human history in ways we often take for granted. But how did we got here from fire and stone tools? What if I told you that for 99% of human existence, nothing much changed, but then, in just the last 300 years, technology exploded? Why? Let's find out. Let's rewind, not 100 years, not 1,000, but 2.5 million years ago. The first tool humans ever invented was simple. They learned to shape crude rocks into sharp-edged stones to cut meat, scrape hides, and crack bones. These early tools belong to what scientists call the Oldowan industry. Think of it as humanity's very first tech startup. But don't imagine axes or hammers just yet. These were basic, handheld stones. Then came the ultimate game changer: controlled fire. Fire meant warmth, protection, and cooked food, which gave us more calories and bigger brains. Suddenly, humans weren't just surviving, they were thriving. But fire during these times was collected from nature and kept alive. Not yet created, they preserve it, keeping embers alive in skulls or horns, carrying it wherever they go for hundreds of thousands of years. After mastering fire and handheld stone tools, it took humans nearly 2 million years to ask a simple question. What if we tied the stone to a stick? Today, that sounds obvious, but for early humans, it was a massive cognitive leap. But around 600,000 years ago, someone figured it out. Stone tools got handles. Axes and hammer were born. This was the Stone Age equivalent of upgrading from a flip phone to a smartphone. Meanwhile, the idea of home was evolving. But long before humans built shelters, nature was already in the home-building business. For them, it was instinct. For us, it became something deeper. By 400,000 years ago, humans shaped shelters, sticks, hides, caves, not just for warmth, but for belonging. Then, around 280,000 years ago, we invented adhesives, birch tar, tree resin, natural glue. Axes became reliable, spears became deadly, and just like that, primitive tech got its second big upgrade: Stone Tool 2.0. Early hominids had no issues with nudity, but they used mud, charcoal, and ochre for sun, insect, and thorn protection, with simple leaf or hide coverings for survival. By 170,000 years ago, cooling climates had them wrapping in animal hides. Some 120,000 years ago, our ancestors were burying their dead, not just with ritual, but with tenderness. These early burials hint at love, memory, and the beginnings of belief. Nobody knows exactly when it began, but by at least 100,000 years ago, humans had developed language, the ultimate tool for cooperation. It began with gestures, then vocal sounds, used to hunt, build, and share ideas. Language made society possible. Humans likely started using simple traps at least 80,000 years ago, depending on the type and region. This development marked a major step in the evolution of intelligent strategic hunting. This advancement in hunting technology was followed by the development of the bow and arrow, believed to have been used in a basic form around 71,000 years ago. And around this time, something astonishing happened. Humans reached Australia by boat-likely logs, or rafts, marking the start of navigation and exploration had begun. But while some ventured outward, others advanced in compassion. In Shanidar Cave, Iraq, a 50,000-year-old Neanderthal skeleton was found, with a crushed arm, a healed foot, and signs of blindness. Yet he lived for decades, likely cared for, perhaps with herbal pain relief, though evidence is debated. For early humans, night was cold and dark. Then came a discovery: animal fat burns. Add a bit of plant fiber, and you get a steady flame. A stone, some fat, and a wick, the first lamp. Now we could carry light into the night. Once humans mastered the skills to endure, they felt the urge to create, turning cave walls into canvases filled with animals, handprints, and symbols. Soon, hollow bones were carved into flutes, releasing the first melodies. Art and sound emerged long before writing, giving voice to thought, belief, and imagination. As creativity flourished, innovation grew at sea. In East Timor, 40,000-year-old fishhooks reveal early mastery of fishing, one of the first marine technologies and a leap in our survival story. Around this time, they invented bone needles, sewing fitted clothes, layered outfits, even long boots. Winter was no longer a threat. They also began wearing ornaments like beads and pendants. This tiny tool, the needles, stitched a new chapter in human history. And then, around 16,000 years ago, pottery emerged. Handmade clay pots were used for cooking, water, berries, and fermenting fish. Before farming, the pot was as vital as the needle, reshaping life and survival. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans moved with the seasons. No permanent settlement. We hunted, gathered, survived. But then, something happened. Something that would change everything. A turning point that set us apart from every other animal and rewrote the fate of humanity. The story continues in the next video. We're working hard to bring it to life. Subscribe to join the adventure.